Welcome back to Sweden. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the symbols used in alchemy and from the tradition. So, just a few things that come up. I want to begin with the expression as above, so below. Also, they say as within, as without, and they talk of the macrocosm being everything within the microcosm, which can be perceived as the human body or a cell. So it's this idea that everything reflects everything else, and particularly it's used with the human, that within the human body, within everything that we are made up of, you can see comparisons with the universe as a whole. And there are these comparison images that you find often on the internet, or I've seen quite a few, where, for example, there's a photograph of a brain cell and there is an image of the universe like as a whole, the structure, the way that it looks, and they look very, very similar. The structure is almost the same visually when you take the universe and then you zoom in to the brain cell, and it's amazing. And there also are comparisons with networks of rivers, of branches in trees, compared with blood vessels and capillaries and everything in the human body again. So it's this idea that there is a reflection, and it's not only on the physical level but on a deeper level. And you can also say, so the alchemists look at heaven and earth, so the heavens being the spiritual aspect and the earth being the physical, grounded everyday reality, and the idea is that one reflects the other. So there are many layers to everything, but everything is a reflection of everything else. So the spiritual level reflects the physical, and the physical reflects the spiritual. It is all combined, it is all part of the same. And this sort of starts to change the perception of the reality. So for me, the one that I find most understanding and connection with at the moment is as within, so without. And that's more of this reflection of ourselves, our personality, our energetic state. Are we happy? Are we positive? Are we filled with love for everything and everyone around us? Well, when you go about your day like that, then you're more likely to have this come back to you, that if you smile at someone, they smile at you. It's that sort of reflection from the world around you, what opportunities come your way. Whereas on the other hand, if you're having a bad day, you're in a bad mood, you're stressed, you can't think straight, you're walking into things, everything seems to go wrong. And again, it's that sort of, what energy are you putting out? What state are you in? And therefore, what experience are you creating in the world around you? So this is one idea from alchemy. I want to say about Sol y Luna now, which is sun and moon. And the sun and the moon are used to represent opposing principles. And primarily you've got the feminine and the masculine. So the moon is the feminine, the passive energy represented by the element of water, very peaceful, flowing, calm, still. And then you have the sun, which is the masculine principle, with the element of fire, which is active, sort of creative energy, doing stuff, creating, influencing, fiery energy. So you've got these two opposing sides. So we can see everything in terms of these principles, but it's not like male, female. It is the masculine and the feminine as they are perceived, and that is within all of us. We have both of these sides. And the thing with the masculine and the feminine is that our current society, it is still dominated by masculine principles, the patriarchy, but it's not just about men being in power, it's about the masculine within each of us being dominant. So even if we like get more and more women in power within this current structure and this current system, the current way that we think, we are still saying that the masculine principles are more important. So at the moment, people think, you know, if you take too much time to be still in whatever form, then you're lazy. You need to be working all the time. You need to show what you're doing. You need to be busy. And this, I think, is worse in cities because there's so much going on. So you feel like, well, now I need to do everything. And there's so much you can enjoy that is active. But it's important for us to also have the balance of the other side, which is that stillness coming back to ourselves, meditation, through being peaceful, walking in nature, whatever it is. But it's that calming down and creating balance in that. And it's not necessarily, you know, it's not that it is nothing. It's not that it is meaningless. It's just a different principle to the masculine, like active energy. And the passive, I think it can be very transformational as well. It allows space. And it brings you back to that point of peace, and you let go of that need to do too much and to explore yourself. I mean, the feminine is the nurturing energy, the mother energy as well. So it is being in that space for yourself, being able to provide that space for other people. So yeah, there's this principle of duality, and with some concepts of creation, the idea is that duality brings forth the creation. So actually, in the beginning, everything was one, was this eternal cycle. In some ways, you could see it as nothing, because it's not the creation as we know it, but there was something, there was an essence. And again, in alchemy, they talk of the Ouroboros, which is represented by a serpent in a circle, biting its own tail. And this idea is that it's self-sustaining, that there is nothing else from the outside that needs to come in or go out, that it just continues. So that's one way of representing this essence that existed, or the ether, you could say, from alchemy, that existed prior to the creation. But then through creating this duality, through splitting the male and the female principles, through breaking the perfection in a way, that's what brings forth creation in the sense that we know it. That's what creates this amazing, challenging world and reality that we live in, that we come to learn and explore and to find ourselves again. So I think that's all the symbols. The caduceus. Yes, so the caduceus is also, and I apologize if I say things wrong, I've been reading them, I haven't really heard people talk about them. So this is a symbol, again, of opposites, but it's when they come into unity with one another. And so this is represented by two serpents that intertwine. And the traditional symbol, which is related to Hermes Trismegistus, the sort of famous alchemist who kind of started the tradition in a way, and he had his wand. So you had that stick in the middle with these snakes around it, and this is the idea of these two opposing principles coming into harmony, coming into unity. And this symbol has been used for peacemaking and protection, to represent healing for many, many years. And it's still used now for this purpose in some medicinal contexts. And I've been surprised actually just to see it around the place in relation to modern medicine, and then to know the sort of deeper esoteric history or origins of this symbol. And this also comes into the Eastern traditions with the yogic philosophy, because they have a similar sort of thing in regards to the energetic principles of the body. And they talk of the Ida and the Pingala. So the Ida is the feminine, the Pingala is the masculine. And again, it's these energies that start from the base of our spine where our chakras begin, and they interact and they cross each other. And where they cross, coming up our body, is where the main chakra energy points are. So it's very interesting to see how the same sort of symbols do reoccur in different traditions. And so this is why in my art project that I'm doing, I have been bringing in elements from other traditions. So I will share that with you when it is ready. So thank you for listening.